Rose. Hello, hey, live. How's it going? All right, so got a few numbers for you today, um, and we want to talk about cost of living. So it's necessary to understand how much you cost as a human. It's my personal belief that really the only difference in life between being a kid and enjoying yourself and being an adult is paying bills. So we got these bills to pay. All right. Well, how much does it cost you to live? That's a big thing. Um, and for these people who don't have anything, uh, something bad happened to them, uh, tragedy, something of that matter. Um, so let's dive in and remember that we're focused on the uh, the $0 income to $1,000 of income a month. So right here we got $3,600. Okay, that's what we think the cost is for a year at the shelter, right? So it's going to cost the person, because it's a work shelter, right? So they're going to spend um, roughly, the work equivalent of $300 a month. So let's break that down a little bit more over here and say we'll start with $3,600. All right. Divide that by 50 weeks, 52 weeks, 50 weeks with 2 weeks off. Okay. That gives us a 72. So that's $72 required per week. Let's say you make $8 an hour. I'm pretty sure the standard is well above this, but just for funsies. Um, so you divide that and you end up needing 9 hours of work. Okay. So 9 hours is a full day or 2 days of work. So 2 out of 7 days. All right. Now, what would you get in the shelter? Well, you've got bed, storage, laundry, Wi-Fi, television, hopefully a work computer so you can, look up jobs or do something for work, print out a resume, something of that nature. Um, so basically all the stuff of home, like, everything you'd have in a house or an apartment. We're just sharing it with a whole bunch of other people. So 9 hours of work, pretty easy. Let's stretch that to two. So let's say, um, actually, let's go bare minimum. So the bare minimum work is basically the government says we will pay you for 4 hours of work when you show up and you do a good job. You do your job. So let's take, let's take 4 hours a day times 3 days, right? Times uh, $8 an hour, and that's gonna happen. Uh, let's see here. That's 1 week, so times 50. All right. So that's $4,800. All right, great. Well, that's pretty simple. Okay, right? If you are able to work, if you have the ability, right? If you're not disabled or or an injury or sick or something. So now we've maxed our 3,600 number, right? So that's great. And this is, it's super doable, right? So let's just assume that this leaves us with what here? So we got minus $3,600. That's $1,200. Okay, and that's per month, right? Um, Actually, no, sorry, that's for the year. Excuse me. So that leaves you with $1,200 for the year. So you can get a cell phone, you can get a bicycle, you can get a laptop, right? And this is year one, right? So there's even a couple, occasionally you'll find a used car for that much money. So in 1 year of, 3 out of 5 days roll out of bed, you you know, you get the 4 or 5 work hour. You're left with an extra $1,200. So you get all the stuff that you need. These people are not will not be considered a burden upon society because they're earning their way, they're covering their cost, and that's pretty great. All right, well, let's just pretend that we worked in this 8-hour job. Let's say you did 3 full 8 hours, right? So this assumes that there is enough work to hand out, right? And that they have decided and have accomplished this work, right? So that's 8 hours of work. That's 3 days. And we're going to call that, 3 days for a week. And let's call that 50. All right. Oops, sorry. 8 times $8 an hour times 8 hours of work times 3 days times 50 for the week. Okay, sorry. All right. So $9,600, right? But again, from $3,600. So $6,000. That is used car, right? 6 times 4, right, is $24,000. That's a year prepaid in an apartment. All right. That's pretty much every bill that you would need. Now, what we suggest with the apartment deal is that you work with us. Okay. You get your regular cost of work done. All right. So it's a work shelter, and during this, during the first 1 to 3 years, we suggest you do that extra $1,200 worth of work. Okay. That's going to get you a laptop and a cell phone. Okay. You can be cheap and you can put your cell phone, and have an email on the Wi-Fi. So you don't even have to pay, a monthly bill if you don't have any money, of course. This will allow you, to get an outside job, right? So let's say first year you do this, you get the laptop and you say, okay, well, I've now found this other job, right? And, year 2 or 3, you started working at this job and you have, you have this outside income. Well, you're still allowed at the shelter, okay? You still will be doing, all the normal stuff, all access there, except you aren't a part of the jobs program anymore. But if you were in there and there were, a limited number of hours, everybody who gets the outside job, they now have basically, they've allowed more hours for other people. So, because your time is spent somewhere else. So that's really great. And in a full-time job, let's see here. So you do 8 times, let's not even say full-time, let's say part-time. Let's say 24 hours a week. All right. 24 hours a week of this job times 50 weeks, right? So you're back at this, $9,600. Let's just check the math one more time to make sure. So $8 an hour times 25 hours. That's $200, right? 200 is 1 week times. That's so not right. Okay. Anyway, hold on a second. 8 hours a day, right? And let's see. Oh, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so it would be 8 hours times 3 days of work, which is the 24. All right. So we're back at that, at that 96. But, you're not very far away from getting your own apartment at that time. Or if you want to save, you can give us notice and say, hey, I've been saving for, X amount of time. They say, okay, cool. We'll put you up in the system. All the records will be there. and you just you basically end up getting getting your own house, because we'll help you with filing paperwork and location, all the different steps of that. But let's say you were a big winner and you found a $12 an hour job, and you say, I'm going to do 40 hours a week and I'm going to work that year. So I've got $24,000. Now you're going to minus taxes, easily. That's, knock it down to like around, I don't know what the specific numbers are. At that, at that lower level, it's not a huge amount of taxes, but, nearly within 1 year, you can say, I would like to continue my job that I got. I can go ahead and, keep working at this job. They like me, I like it. And we say, hey, man, that's no problem. We've checked your work history and your numbers, and basically you have $24,000 worth of work that you've done. And this place costs, $28,000 for the year, right? Well, we're going to suggest, hey, cable, utilities, which is, trash, water, sewer, electricity, all that stuff. We're gonna run the numbers. We're gonna find out exactly what that is. But easily, within a year and a half, you can get this done, right? So that's going from absolute zero in a year and a half to being, by yourself, completely standing on your own 2 feet. And that's, these guys are working it. They got a good regular job. They put in their full-time hours. It's not completely free, but amazing though. So easily in 1 to 3 years, you could be in your own apartment with our plan. So that's really great. 8 to 10, you're starting to look at house numbers. All right. Housing requires down payments and credit these days. It's less and less about the payments, and the standard is more about your monthly income. So I earn X amount of dollars. I have this many years of good work service. You can see my paychecks that have come in. So that's what they do there. Anyway, but pretty easy in a year and a half from this new job, right? And you might call that a total of 2.5 years, if you want slow. First the work program, then, using the computer or getting your own, finding another job, then applying, then getting your first paycheck. None of that is really fast, and one other benefit that the work shelter gives us is that we're closing the gap from zero. That's the goal. All right, but we're also closing the gap from job to job, right? So in a normal situation, you have to stop and take time and go apply for this new job. Well, if you don't plan that right, if you don't plan your exit day right, with the job's availability, what have you, you're missing time at work that you could be spending. So that's nice. And with us, you can say, okay, well, today is the 12th and the 17th. I have this job opportunity. And we say, that's great. We have so much work. You can work the rest of these days if you want to. They say, that's great. I'm going to work the next 4 days. I'm going to take a day off work, clean myself up, and then head out to this new job. So that's really cool. We're excited about this. It seems very practical. It's the most stable and comprehensive plan that I've heard of. Anyway, and let's go into something that I'm sure everybody is interested in, and that is that's house number. So average house is 236,000 was the last time I read. Right, so this is in the last couple of years. That's USA. That's average house cost. So this is a low end guy. It's not a big deal, but you're 100,000 plus, so that certainly is a big deal. And let's divide that, right, by this 24,000 number. Okay, so that's 9.8 years. All right, that's a house that's paid off, right? They have something to consider. You have taxes, you have, the time and this and that. All right, well, let's look, because most houses are what, divided by a 30-year mortgage, right? So 236. So we divide that by 30 years. And in 30 years, if you were just paying the amount, and you're certainly not, and we'll go into that in a second, you're at basically $8,000, right? Well, houses cost 3 to 5 times what the sticker price is when you stretch it out over a 30-year mortgage, depending on several things. But that's basically what you're getting. You are certainly, at least on loan, paying twice the amount. It's really closer to 3 to 5. So 300%, that's a real thing. All right, let's shoot for the stars. Okay, let's say you're late 20s, something happened, you decide to be homeless, or it happened to you, and you said, I think I'm ready to to work and get myself out of here, but I have nothing. You walk in day one to the shelter, you start the work program, and immediately you have food, clothing, and shelter. Okay, immediately you have all the basics that you need, including a nice little area to sit down and relax. A little internet, television, computer, so some way to entertain yourself, because having absolutely nothing at all is quite a bit to deal with. And let's say good paying job could be 10 to 20 something an hour, so let's keep this same 24,000. All right, and let's imagine that we're making more than $12 an hour. Let's divide 500,000 by 24,000. Okay, that's 20 years. All right. But that's not 20 years to get into the house. That's 20 years to pay for the house. So with the recent pandemic, I believe it was Chase Bank, basically bumped up all their loan numbers to the commercial amounts. So commercial, in a nutshell, is paying twice. All right. So, 10% of 500,000 is what? 50,000, right? 20% is $100,000. Okay, so let's go back down, right, to $24,000, and let's divide our down payment. That's 4 years. Okay, there is nobody who is saying, please come here. You can have already experienced homelessness, and you can have a house in 5 years. Nobody's doing that. Okay, we can do it. It's super easy, and we just took the time. So this is 4.16, right? Call it 4.17, right? That's what, 4 at the very most. It's like 4.5 years, right, between looking for a house, looking for that job, finding it. So this is assuming best scenario. You have the outside job, you have been at the shelter, okay? You want to be at this job for 1 to 3 years, okay? Because payments don't mess around, right? When you don't make a payment, they say, I'm sorry, we have to we have to take that back. So that's not a fun day. We're gonna do what we can to help avoid all of those. But pretty amazing, 20 years of payment. Even if you're 28 years old, at 48, almost 50, you could have a house paid off from living at a shelter. That's simply amazing. That's 50. That's before retirement age, and it's feasible. It's it's completely possible. Anyway, so back to the real life numbers. Apartment living, easy peasy, you're $1,200 a month, right? That's 14. Okay, well, they say we want that to be 1/3. the cost of living standards should be rental or living is 1/3 of your income, right? That's what we think is necessary. So you now have to make $43,000, right? That's a little ridiculous. Okay, there's not a homeless person that's making $43,000 and $1,200 of rent. And besides, and once again, to not to make fun of, but the homeless ticket, right? In the city where I did this was $185 per. Okay, so if you get caught sleeping in an alleyway, someone's private property, right? Even if it's like a field adjacent to a property or next to, right? If it's still their property, they can private property trespass you. Okay, that is a law. That is a real thing. Okay, so that's not a problem. What I want to point out is the cost of this. So they say, oh, you can do some community service or pay our $185. All right, well, how realistic is this? All right, let's say you got caught every single day for 10 years, right? That's $675,250. That's more than your $500,000 house. That's basically double the current, low standard house cost, right? That's 10 years. In 20 years, let's see. That's double, right? 20 years, that's $1.3 million. In 20 years of being homeless, if you got caught and had to pay every single day, that's $1.3 million. Let's just divide that, right? 20 years divided by, let's see, 365 divided by 20, and now we're back to the 185. So you have to make $185 a day as a person with no job, right? That's not possible. Okay, most of these jobs, let's say even $25,000, right? $25,000 a year. No, let's just do 50, right? 50 is a good standard number, right? That's what people need to live nowadays. That's $136 a day. You don't have it. You don't have $185 a day. So anyway, we hope this helped. I didn't want to take too much time. We'll go into some of the other details later on, but we really think this is a great possible, and we look forward to getting it up. So thanks. If you guys like this, thanks again for watching, and like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.